others will do it because they're like, oh, I just want to go to university and just get a degree, or I just want to go to university and experience it. That's when, people do. But like with sports science, especially with like applied sports science, like I said, like it's not easy. I'm not gonna say it's crazy hard, but it's not easy. And I think what people don't understand is like people always make the assumption that like they have the hardest course, or because their course is titled a certain way, that it's going to be the hardest course.
You're now tuned in to Sliders Podcast. I'm your host, Who's Taff. Find out on the pod, aka the champion. But we're not finding out about me today. We got a special guest in the studio. Who else is here with us?
You've got your boy Mo, aka the wild card.
The most unenthusiastic one.
Hey man, I'm doing my best to keep the energy up today. But, we're joined today by
Emmanuel, aka Manny, aka Kabenz, aka the president. Graduate at Northumbria and the president at Northumbria.
Right.
Class of 2018. Did applied sports science for 3 years. So, yeah, I'm qualified to take blood.
OG fam. OG in
Wait,
the
is
game.
that real?
Yeah, like it's because mine was applied sports science. It was like a lot of lab-based stuff and doing like we dealt with a lot more like experiments rather than, I don't know what the concept of people have of sports science.
I honestly have no idea.
Okay. So like sports science isn't really out there. So like why did you pick sports science, and is it common?
So it's really weird. So for me, a lot of people think that like athletes, this is the case sometimes, but where athletes just pick sports science because they think it's going to be the easiest course. But when I was coming into uni, I mostly just wanted to do something human body related. I was accepted to a few different places to do like biomed, biology, and sports science as well. Like I had applied to quite a lot of places, but the reason why when I was coming to Northumbria, I dropped biomed to do sports science was because like I enjoyed learning about the human body. Like that's no homo. I enjoyed learning about the human body.
Yeah. I think you were safe.
Bro, I don't know these people the way they think, fam. But like I enjoyed learning about the human body a lot more, into a lot more depth. But I also kind of, being an athlete, like I enjoyed the sport and the athletic side of things.
Okay.
And when I found out about the sports science in Northumbria and just how detailed it was and how practical it was in terms of, doing with it being more lab based, it just seemed to be the appropriate thing for me. So I chose it.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. How did you find it? Like, did you look it up, or
how did I find the course?
Yeah.
Oh, no, for me, because I was applying to a few different unis and I had remembered Northumbria was like on the cards because someone that I knew was up here for basketball, and at the time all I wanted to do was come uni. Was even though I knew what I wanted to do at uni, like I wasn't worried about myself academically. I knew that I wanted to play basketball, so I wanted to find somewhere that can give me a scholarship. So I was looking into America, looking into like Loughborough, Newcastle, and here and Northumbria. And very last minute, I saw Northumbria, and like oddly enough, like after winning the championship in 2015, then the coach hit me up like,
your team won the championship.
Yeah.
Shit, this thing was trying to make it to the league.
MVP in that.
Okay.
Nah, I mean, back then, because I attended the basketball academy in Preston for 2 years, where we lived on campus, which is why when I came to uni, I refused to live in halls because I already had the experience when I was in college. So when I was coming to uni, like, I applied and applied for a few different courses, and sports science just seemed to be the one that made the most sense, because obviously there's biomed, but there's no, as far as I know, there's no biomed looking into sports unless it's like physiotherapy or stuff like that, which I didn't really want to do. And in America they have more things like kinesiology in sport and kinesiology and stuff like that, whereas here it's a bit different in how we do things. So when the coach hit me up like, I want you to come here, blah blah blah, I came for my visit. I already knew I was accepted. I came for my visit, and then I just kind of liked the place because it was between here and Loughborough, and like or leave the country. But like when I decided to stay in the country, it was between here and Loughborough. And when I was in Loughborough for 4 days, the whole city is basically, it was good. Like if you're going there for just academics or just sports or both of them, it's good. But like away from that, it's just not it for it just wasn't it for me because
The
literally,
cities.
bro, yeah.
Okay.
Imagine the whole of Newcastle being just students and old people. So when
But that is Newcastle in a way.
it's not though.
Like,
it's
it's
not
just
though.
young people, to be
No,
fair.
it's mixed. It's quite mixed and quite a bit.
fair
Whereas Loughborough town was literally students and old people, like because it's not in Leicester. It's like its own little town
Thing.
area,
Okay.
and literally, so when students are not here and we're not there, it is dead. Whereas Newcastle, bro, Newcastle is staying live throughout
That's
the whole
true.
year. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So.
Yeah.
And you know, students actually want to stay here, whereas students over there, like, they don't want to stay there. Like, bro, their night out was their student union or going to the town centre.
God forbid. So is it sort of like how, people in Durham, they come to Newcastle to like go out, with people in Loughborough leaving Loughborough to go to a different town
Yeah,
to
that's what
party?
I'm saying. So it would either be into Leicester City to go and do whatever you go party over, because obviously they're also surrounded by Nottingham as well, because Nottingham's around the corner. It's either do that or just go into the students' union, which fair play to them. Like, their students' union is quite big. Like, it's quite big, and they always have it. They fully turn it into a nightclub. Like, they do that, and they do a good job of it. So fair play to them in that regards. But in terms of actual, like, the way Newcastle's set up, where you can just do stuff everywhere, it's not the same. So. And yeah, in those 4 days I was there, it was just different. And I came to Newcastle for one day. I was like, you know what, I'm coming up here.
All right. So take us back to your lectures, though. Would you say your course was diverse in terms of gender, race?
No.
Oh,
No.
oh Lord.
I'm guessing it would be male dominated, or
Yeah.
Predominantly male dominated. The few females that were there were kind of like, on the whole, they're doing sports science because they couldn't get into physiotherapy. So then they're doing that as like a see how the same way people would do like biomed into med school.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They did that as like a way to get into physio, because I think once you've graduated with that, you're more likely to get a scholarship if you got like a first or whatever, and then you can get your physiotherapy for free.
Okay.
Or like the course for free for 2 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then race? Like, what's happening
I
there?
was the only black guy on my course.
Damn.
I was the only black guy on my course for a year and a half. And then on my second year, there was another black guy, but he was also my friend from London that was moving up for basketball.
Oh,
So there was no diversity in that.
Jesus. And do you think is that something that's attributed to more of like the course? It's the city that the course is in, pretty much.
I think partially it's because of the city the course is in, and two, something I genuinely believe it is just because of the way our parents have been raising us. Because when you're African, Caribbean, or whatever, the moment you are born, you see how there's 3 starter Pokemon.
Yeah.
The moment you're born, you have your 3 starter career choices.
Yeah.
Engineer, doctor, or lawyer.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you customize as you get older, right?
Yeah.
So those are your main, and I genuinely think that that is just the genuine mindset that people have, like that a lot of black people have, which can be good in terms of if you're trying to just be, I guess, corporate towards going into that path, but then it's also not good because, like, you could literally be holding yourself back because you're like, right, I like this thing here and I can probably do this, but I want to but I have to be an engineer. Do you know what I mean?
But do you know what's mad? I feel like, to be fair, I don't know, because this is a very big conversation as well, but like, just to say a little thought on that, I feel that, is it not in a way good because it's putting our people in like certain positions, like doctors, lawyers, engineers, like high professions? But is it not good to like rear our people that way?
It's good, but it's also good in a way. It's also bad in a way where like we're likely to just be concentrated in that. And then the moment you don't reach that same thing, then it's like, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, child rearing, like it's kind of mad, but like
that's what I'm saying.
for the population, it works out in a way. So
like the one where you have because then like we don't have as many black people in psychology. We don't have as many black, like literally away from medicine, law, and freaking engineering, and obviously the very obvious ones like sports and music and stuff. We don't have people in all these random ass fields, and that's where when you find, but then when you find that odd black guy or black woman in that one random field that
Yeah. It's like, I
predominantly-
didn't know black people
Yeah.
did therapy.
It's
like
not even
a black
just that.
therapist.
It's not even just that though. You'll notice that most of the time when you find them in that one field, they tend to be the best or one of the best in that one field. Like what's his name, physicist from America.
Oh,
Neil
Neil
deGrasse
deGrasse Tyson.
Tyson, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's one of the best out there. And
Yeah.
he's one of the few.
And he's
in
showing
that
people
field.
that there's money in it.
Yeah.
You know, there's no notoriety, there's respect.
Exactly.
It's like he's adding respect to the role because a lot of professions as well. Just to bring it back to the courses, some courses have more respect than other courses. And that's just how people are. Like you're more likely to respect someone that says, I do medicine versus someone that does biology because you don't really associate anything with biology. You just go, oh, biology, like what?
Okay.
Cells.
But that's what's crazy though,
Yeah.
because with biology is like I think biomed. I mean, medicine is a whole different story because the moment you leave that, like you are a doctor. Like
Yeah.
you're basically guaranteed the job unless you fail. Whereas biology is like you can kind of tinker and go down different routes, including medicine, if you're accepted and stuff. And I think medicine itself just holds a different way. And like talking about the people, very few of us being in specific fields. Like what's her name? Gladys West, who was the mathematician behind the GPS.
Okay.
But a lot of black people don't realize that. But then she was quite instrumental in the way the GPS works, even till this day. She's still alive, and that's what I'm saying. Where because we're so focused on those, like I said, those three areas. Whenever a black person goes and ventures somewhere else that they like and somewhere else that they enjoy, we tend to genuinely just dominate it. Even if there are just a few of us, we tend to just dominate it. Because that was the case with sports as well. Like football, basketball was invented by the white folk. Football was invented by the white folk. You know what I mean? Like whenever, and I think for me, it's just a case of where and it's also because of stereotypes as well. Like there's just a lot of general stereotypes. Like people just automatically assume like if I go to university, okay, don't get me wrong, there are certain courses that people do at university that I feel like is a waste of money for what you're trying to do with that course.
Yeah.
Like,
Speaking slightly more on that, what are you trying to do with sports science at the time?
I want nothing to do with that.
Really? So
No,
what was
at the
end
time when
goal?
I was doing
Yeah.
that, psychology was one of the modules I did. So
Okay.
going into my masters, I did psychology for my masters because I really enjoyed psychology, and I thought, you know what, if I do good enough in psychology and I really enjoy the topic and I get accepted, I'll do a PhD. A month into my masters, I was like, nope. The moment this is done, I'm out of here. And then it just happened to be that I saw the presidency and I ran for the presidency. So now, based on the past 2 years and what I've been doing with the presidency, it's like I kind of know what I want to go down, and it's got nothing to do with applied sports science or psychology. It's more so to do with like media or marketing, that kind of area there.
Okay.
And
So even at the time for applying the course, like you weren't really trying to do something directly related to sports science at all.
no, I was always going to do a master's. Like even
Yeah.
when I was applying, I knew that I was going to come to university, do my undergrad, do my masters.
But career-wise as well.
Career-wise, I wasn't directly sure because also
Okay.
basketball was also in the cards for me because obviously I came to university because I came here on a basketball scholarship. So I wanted to make sure that I can still do something with that. So yeah, basketball was also in the cards, and then as time went on, like I said, customized as I went along, and I just found more interest in other things. And
Okay. So like, what would you say about studying for just sports science? Is it heavy assignments, exams? Like, how did you navigate stuff like that?
It was a mixture throughout the 3 years. Like first year was like a bit of a mixture, like getting you into a swing of things, and the get into the swing of things, because within it was a bunch of different subjects put together, looking at it in a sports setting. You know what I mean? So it would be like biology, but focusing on biology in a sports setting. It'd be some elements of chemistry, looking at into a sports setting. Psychology, looking at a sports setting. So it was kind of like getting people around into that, and then second year was when it was a lot more lab based, and where every week like you'd be using people's blood for different things, monitoring people's oxygen levels when they're doing certain things and stuff like that. And then third year was like third year, I don't even remember because all I remember was my dissertation.
It's all a blur.
So third year was a mixture again, but then third year was like I focused a lot on my dissertation. So like my focus, because my dissertation was on like looking at recovery methods for exercise-induced muscle damage. So like I'm looking at how fast you can, what's the best way to recover when you finish doing something completely strenuous that completely takes you out of it. And that was just a blur, fam.
Okay. Would you say your uni had good facilities
For my course?
for your course?
Yeah. There's like a whole floor just for it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think they could have probably got more. I think they could have got more. But I think for what? Yeah. But I think it was good. Yeah.
Okay. And then, are there any major obstacles you encountered on the course? Like,
I think major obstacles. I'm not too sure, because I think, I don't. On the course itself, I don't think I encountered many obstacles. I think it was just a case of where when you're in uni, like it's the same thing. Like you get in the work you get out what you put in. You know what I mean? And obviously, unless you're one of those people that just naturally just knows everything, like you get in what you put out, you get out what you put in. So I just tried to make sure that I just did what I could.
and how would you describe the quality of your lectures?
Oh, it was a bit mixed.
Okay, so can you give us a good range, like from best to worst? Like,
so first year, I had this one lecture. Actually, first and second year, I had this one lecturer in psychology, and to this day, I don't like her. Mostly because, so in first year, this was like 2014-15. Oh, sorry, 2015-16. This was the year that Newcastle played very, very bad in the Premier League.
okay,
And they got relegated for the 16-17 season.
Oh, okay.
all right.
So now she was a hardcore Geordie.
Oh,
And I had psychology every Monday at 10 a.m. Or it was 9 or 10 a.m.
don't tell me it interfered with
Bro.
her professional life.
Every single time from the very first day, she told us like, oh yeah, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. I am, as you can hear, I'm a local Geordie. And she said,
Why I, mate?
Ari. She said, as you can hear, I'm obviously a Geordie. And I do support the team, blah, blah, blah. And literally, when I tell you, I'll probably say from the following week, every week we come into psychology and she is pissed. She is vexed. She's just angry. And like, every week she'd always be, like she was literally one of the angriest lecturers I'd ever met in my life.
So would she keep mentioning the game?
She didn't even mention it, but this was my assumption because like everything just aligned too well. Every week, bro, every Monday, she was vexed because my assumption was the first couple of weeks was like, oh, Newcastle just lost over the weekend, so I'm not in a great mood.
Yeah.
But then every Monday she was always vexed, and then bro, it got to this following year, and obviously Newcastle were in the league below, so now they were winning more games.
Yeah.
Bro, when I tell you this woman was coming in every week smiling,
Night and day. But it's like, should you even be happy in that scenario?
I mean, they're heading back in the better direction.
that's what I'm saying. Like they were winning every week, and then she was smiling, and I was like, yeah. But that was mostly it. The one lecturer.
Okay.
There was one of my lecturers in physiology. There was two of them actually. There was three of them. Because physiology was the one that I kind of liked the most, because that was the one that often just looked at the anatomy, and biomechanics looked at anatomy, but it was like it's kind of looking at how your body moves the way it does.
Is that the one where it blends physics as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And whereas physiology was just like, just directly looking at the body and looking at how it functions and stuff like that. And the three lecturers I had for physiology throughout the 3 years, they were just amazing. Like every time we had a lecture, the way they did things, like, because I think one of the biggest things that a lot of university lecturers have is like they are smart and they're academic, but that's just it.
Oh, okay.
That's literally all they are. Then they don't know how to teach. Like, some of them, it's like they might come from a background where mum and dad are academics, older brothers an academic, great granddads and stuff. Everyone was an academic, and they became an academic, but then they don't know how to relay the message to the average student that may not have that academic pass or may even speak, maybe even becoming speaking a
Do
different language.
lecturers take a course like teachers?
No,
get
not all of them
teaching
do.
course?
No,
Or do they just graduate with a biology PhD and go into lecturing?
some people when they're doing their PhDs can like get given the option to like to teach and help out and stuff. Like in my first year of uni, one of the lecturers we had for nutrition, she was like in her final year of a PhD. No, in her second year of a PhD.
Damn. And like, what would you describe as your hardest assignment, and what would be your easiest assignment back then?
Hardest exam was it was like health. It was health and motion. So it was basically looking at ways to to implement, looking at ways to kind of get more people engaged with more people engaged with psychology and also their physical well-being, looking at ways to get them involved in that. And the assignment for that was basically like the whole semester we did about 10 different subjects or covered 10 different subject areas within that one subject within that one subject. And the exam in January was everything that we covered in that first term, which would have been fine, but the exam was basically 2 hours. You couldn't bring in any notes with you. You had to reference within the exam.
What does that mean?
You had to literally, as you're writing the exam, if you're trying to say this is here, you had to reference. The exam was,
Off top?
The exam was 3 case studies. 3 case studies.
Okay.
2 of them were shown. No, one of them was shown to us. One of them got shown to us so we could prepare for it, and the other 2 were going to be randomly chosen from the 10 different subjects.
So were you referencing the case studies?
No, I was just referencing whatever you were just referencing whatever
knowledge you had.
Whatever knowledge you had. Like whatever.
Bro, I have not got any reference in me, fam, to just be pulling out references.
It was literally just like, the exam was 3 case studies. One of them was shown to us, and then the other 2 were going to be randomly chosen from 10 different subjects.
Bro.
We had to reference within the exam, and we couldn't bring any notes with us as well.
Nah, that's impossible.
So
the
highest person in the year group or something like that got like 65%.
Nah, that's unreal.
I honestly don't understand the point of those kind of exams.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense.
What is this accomplishing? Like,
it's not accomplishing anything. What are you testing? Like how well I can remember references?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's so dumb,
bro. It made no sense.
That's
sense.
So dumb.
Yeah, that was it. And then the best ones were one of the best ones was my dissertation. Even though I didn't do as good in it as I wanted to, but the whole aspect of it, I think the reason why I didn't do as good in it as I wanted to was because last minute I changed it from my own study to secondary data. So then it meant that I was no longer conducting the experiment. Everything was now online. Like I had to just research and find the papers myself.
How come you did that?
Just because I had because of everything I had going on, because it was my 3rd year, I was playing basketball as well. Like, I just had no time to do other stuff as well. So
does that affect your grade in any way? Like changing it from primary to secondary?
No, it doesn't affect your grade. It's just you writing. You're writing it.
So you can do primary for fun. Like
you can just go from. It's just primary is easier to write on because as you're doing an experiment, you're kind of writing down the results and stuff. It's easier to analyze. Whereas secondary data is like it's basically what you've done throughout the undergrad. Like you just go online, find a bunch of papers that backing up what you say, and then you just go off that. And it's easier to do, but it was just longer because it was way too much reading, fam. My eyes will just finish.
Okay. And now, like, for the final set of questions, how did your course affect your mental health, if it did? Like, is it a stressful course? Is it very, like, chill?
It's really weird, though, because for me, I'm not that stressed a person. I haven't really been dealing with stress until the past year. But I think the course didn't really affect my mental health. I think it was more so like a split. Like, because I had the course and because I was also playing basketball, like I had to make sure that I remained on top of both. And obviously we were going into the finals in that year, and like it was just all that pressure was just tough. But then, like being a scholar athlete as well, it was like it gave me peace because I was like, okay, I'm getting free money. Yeah, I'm getting money from the uni, like, you know. I'm
So
not
you
gonna
weren't
say
really
no.
stressed like for rent and stuff.
No.
Okay.
I paid my first 2 years of uni, like the uni paid for my house. So.
Okay. So could you give us like an overview of that as a basketball player, playing at the level you're playing at, and also keeping on top of education? What was a typical week or month like? Was it like how many sessions did you train, and then how did you revise as well?
Every year it's changed. My first year we trained Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Yeah, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and we played on Saturdays or Sundays or sometimes both. And then my second year it was kind of similar. Third year it was, because I chose not to play with one of the leagues so I can focus more. It was train Mondays and Thursdays, play on Wednesdays. Oh yeah, sorry, I played on Wednesdays as well. Sorry, first year and second year was train Mondays, Tuesdays, play Wednesday, train Thursday, play Saturdays or Sunday or both.
Jesus Christ.
So sometimes in a week I'd have like one day off.
That's ridiculous.
And then second year was the same thing. Third year was like train Mondays, play Wednesdays, train Thursday, play and then that's me for the week. Or I'll only play the home game, so I'll play like one game a week. That's how it was in third year. And then masters, it was train Mondays and Thursdays, play on Wednesday, and then I didn't play National League as well, so I didn't play on Saturday, so I was free. Like my masters, I was quite free for. It was like easier for me to do a lot of things because literally like, I didn't really start doing things like in terms of like doing more of the student stuff that everyone else did until like more so to do my masters. Like third year was kind of, second year not really. First year therefore didn't. Like I did like some Freshers Week stuff, but like I didn't really get to do more of the student stuff like that people would tend to do, like, you know, Freshers Week or this is. I didn't really get to do that until like my masters in the past couple of years.
Okay. And then like what advice would you give to people? Yeah.
Whilst you're at university,
More specifically, sorry, what advice would you give to people applying for the course? And then
for my course,
yeah.
Make sure that it's something that you actually want to do and not just doing it because you think it's an easy course. Because I think that's the assumption. That's always the assumption.
Yeah. In every course, I think they sold the dream like A levels is gonna be hard, but uni you can rest. Like I don't know who keeps selling that false narrative.
Like I think, yeah, that's always the assumption that when it comes to especially sports science or some sport related courses, making the assumption that's gonna be easy. Because you're gonna be shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I think
it goes back to that lack of respect.
Yeah.
Like because people are like, oh, it's just sports science, man. It's not like law and medicine.
Like there are certain courses where I genuinely feel like it's a waste having this course at university, where you could probably go to a specific school or a specific go to a specific school to
stuff.
Go get this qualification. Like drama at university, it's not pointless. It's kind of pointless because if you're really trying to pursue like acting and that, you might as well just go to like an acting school. You know what I mean? Instead of
or drama academies. Like it's always weird because surely with actors you can see the numbers. Like what percentage of people that do drama at uni make it anywhere, and then you compare that to the numbers of people that go to academies and where they make it. Same with dancing as well.
Yeah, like, so you could just do that, or like sports coaching. No disrespect, but you know, like if you come to do sports coaching, you're meant to graduate as a coach, and as a qualified coach, but then you still have to go do a specific coaching qualification, and still pay for that. And that's what 27 grand you've spent on doing sports coaching at university when you could have spent £80 to get your level 1, like £120 to get your level 2, and £130, £140 to get your level 3, and then you're qualified probably more than the person that just did 3 years at uni.
And you save money.
And you can probably start getting experience a lot earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So some of those courses there, it's like, it's good. You know, sometimes the people will do it because they think it's going to do this, but then others will do it because they're like, oh, I just want to go to university and just get a degree, or I just want to go to university and experience it. That's when, you know, people do. But like with sports science, especially with like applied sports science, like I said, like it is it's not easy. I'm not gonna say it's crazy hard, but it's not easy. And I think what people don't understand is like people always make the assumption that like they have the hardest course, or because their course is titled a certain way, that it's gonna be the hardest course. Like PJ is the biggest freaking pelican for that. Like you could be sat there.
PJ will be coming soon. He's an architecture student.
Yeah, you'll be sat there, and all of a sudden, it's like the memes. Like nobody, architecture students, I do the hardest course ever. But you know what I mean? Like they find it very hard. But then,
but that course is long though. 7 years, is it?
Yeah, but medicine.
So medicine.
Yeah, but that's kind of the same with like the whole point of medicine though, because you can go into like architecture and do like 4 years instead if you go through another route. But it's just harder to go through that route. The same way it's harder to just get into medicine. That's why they've got very few medicine students going straight from college. You know what I mean? And people just people just tend to have this perception in their head, like, you know, that because their course is titled a certain way or is seen by certain people a certain way, they're like, oh yeah, I'll do a harder course than this person. Whereas if someone else that does a, I guess, lower course that by social standards or whatever, if they gave you half the crap that they had to do, you're never going to understand it, purely because you do not have the same, you don't have the same knowledge, and you it's not the course you're doing.
It's just not you.
I'm relatively well versed in freaking in knowing the freaking government and knowing stuff about law, but I'm never gonna claim that I know anything about people doing law.
So like you glossed over it in the previous question, but like what advice would you give for people just coming to university period? Like anything?
Get involved in the SU. Not that I'm promoting the SU.
Really? Like you'd seriously say get involved in the SU?
Get involved in the SU because I think that's something that I wish I had got involved in earlier.
Oh, sorry. SU stands for Student
Union. Yeah. Get involved in the Student Union. And I don't mean like dive into it head first. I'm just talking like, okay, not even necessarily get involved, but just know about the Student Union and know what the Student Union does. Because for me, I didn't know much about it. I just knew it as like, karaoke on the Thursday. They've got food.
I knew it through you.
Yeah. The food there's food in there. And then, I went in there for like society events and stuff. But away from that, the SU does so much more that I didn't even realize until literally I started the job.
You're responsible for the free buses, aren't you?
Yeah, like the SU was in charge of getting 24 hours, getting digital commons at the Northumbria building. The SU's the one that got that in. And like I did not realize any of this. Like even when you're trying to fight the university on a case, like where say your grades messed up or whatever, or like your course things have been messing you up and stuff, the SU's got an advice team to help you with that crap. Oh, like I didn't know any of this until I started the job. I was like, oh snap.
Okay, wait, can you give us an example of that? Like, so what do you mean? So like, if you just flop of the uni, or if you get caught for plagiarism, like do you go to the SU and they help you?
You can go to the SU and the SU can try and help the case and help facilitate the case. If you have, say for example, why is my mind frozen? Say for example, you've just received your grade, and your grade is like, I don't know, you've got like a 69. Your overall grade is like 69 out of 70. It's 69%. Instead of, and you're that close to a first, but they didn't round it up. There's ways that people don't know trying to get like a borderline classification, and you don't really learn about stuff like this until because the university is not going to tell you. Whereas if you go to the SU, it's like, oh, I've had this here, like I'm very, very close to getting a first, and I want to just get that first. Then they can help you do all that stuff. And if you're a student like you're struggling with financially right now, and you need and you just need help or whatever, the SU's got like a student food bank where you just come in, you pick up like a parcel of food that should last you around 14 days, 7 to 14 days, I think it is. Is it 7? Around 7 to 14 days or something thereabouts there. Maybe it might be less than that, but don't quote me on it.
Yeah,
but it's
I remember
a few days.
you guys were helping people move in to Trinity Square at that time.
Yeah. The freshest move-ins help people move into their halls. Like there's just the fact that last year there was a no detriment policy.
What does that mean?
When if you had like a certain grade before March 15th last year, which was like right as COVID was starting,
Yeah.
then whatever grade you had, that was going to be your grade. So it wasn't going to get lowered. So if you did more work after that, it could only get better. So say, for example, you were averaging a 70% before March 15th and you already had all your other modules complete. Nothing else you did was going to lower that.
Was that the SU?
Yeah. We work with the university to get that, yeah.
Come on.
So
Hey man,
like
a lot of people have to thank the SU. Well, were you behind that one?
bro, that's what people don't realize. Like, I didn't realize what the SU did until I started this job. Like, I said,
You niggas are doing some shit. Like, you need to sort out the SU marketing, let people know
fam,
that we're saving a lot of your behinds right now.
when I run for the job, I literally ran for it because it popped up on my screen because I was ACS president. It popped up on my screen, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" I came in the following day asking about the job, and they told me about the job, and then I literally just put my application into and started campaigning 2 weeks later. And as God had it, like, I had people campaigning with me, and like PJ and Richie and them, and one of the people campaigning with me, like people went off campaigning with me. Even Terrell came over to campaign with me as well.
Even Tom.
Yeah.
Shout out.
When they came to campaign with me, like we won. I won in my first term, 2019, and then last year I got re-elected and they set the record for the most votes. And literally, just that whole campaigning process got me realizing, oh, this is hard. But then when I started the job, bro, from the first day, I was like, wow. They was just like, because I literally did not realize just how much work went into everything until I started the role.
Okay.
And like, that's why I'm like, I would say like, even if you don't want to directly get involved in the SU, in the students' union, like, have somewhat of a knowledge of what they do.
Yeah.
What's the? To be fair, I feel like this definitely needs to get highlighted, like in terms of like just clipping this SU stuff and making it more out there and known. So like, what would you say is the top 3 things you've done, like that you're proud of as your 2 terms in presidency?
Top 3 things.
Yeah.
Launch the Black Leaders Project.
Yeah.
Which like is the mentor scheme for black students. Launch the Black Leaders Project. Ran 2 successful Black History Month Black History Month campaigns, because it's something that's never really been done. Prior to me starting, because obviously like most/everyone in the union was white. So trying to get black students involved in that, it's not a fault of their own. Yeah, it's just trying to get black students. And then what's the third thing? What's the biggest? Setting the record for the most votes.
Okay.
Like, there's a bunch of stuff on the side, but those are like the main 3 things that I'd probably say are my biggest flexes, because like that record is like it was just crazy. Yeah. So, and I didn't like to go from not even knowing about the role and then running for it, like, because I put my nomination in to run for it like about 4 days before it closed. So to go from not knowing about the role to running for it, getting elected for the first time as the first black president.
Nah, that was beautiful.
And then going back to back. And then...
Oh, you're not going to clap more?
It's clapping
cool. The time has passed.
It's clapping on the inside. It's clapping on the inside.
Cool. If Obama was sitting here, you still wouldn't clap, would you? You're actually
Obama's different, though.
It's not. A president's a president. He was the first black president. You're not showing him respect. Just arms folded. Listen, I honestly, I apologize, man. You should throw him out the window.
And then the second term was just like, it was just different. So, and like, I just got even more votes. So yeah, that's why for me it was like and both times I was there, the overall voting turnout, like for not just the presidential position, but the amount of students I voted as a whole, both times that I've been there.
And that shows you like, wow, like
the highest.
Niggas really fuck with you. Like,
so
that's crazy. Like, how did you feel? Like, it feels weird that when people just support you and you're like, oh shit, everyone's here for me.
I didn't like. I think when I ran in my first term, I was like, because literally, Khalil was the person. When I told, because he was coming. I mean, you presume you know Khalil, right? Yeah. When he was coming back from America, I told him that I was about to run for it. He just said to me, "Oh yeah, we're gonna win." I was like, "Okay." And then I got Richie to design my flyers.
Yeah, it's not the first time Khalil's had a black president. He knows what going on.
I got Richie to design my flyers, and when Richie was designing my flyers, on the first day of like campaigning, I didn't actually have my flyers because this website just took long to just posted. So my flyers actually got there on the second day, like halfway through the day, whereas everyone else had 10-yard flyers. So all I could do was do online stuff and then print out some freaking massive A4 pieces of paper and just sort of turn up to people like, yeah, vote for me.
I remember you were going around lecture rooms as well.
Like literally, my campaigning week was just like, sorry. I said to someone, I don't know who it was. I said to them, I'm like, if I could run for this role for like another 2 or 3 years, no one else is ever gonna win it.
Damn.
Because it's just like, because when I did it the first time, we did, literally every single day we devised a new plan as to how we were gonna get people. So when we found out that we could go into lecture rooms from like the second or the third day. That's when we found that out.
So can anyone go into the lecture room and do a little announcement and
Yeah.
shit?
Literally,
If you see Sliders podcast in your lecture room.
Oh no, sorry.
Yeah.
No, this is just for elections.
Oh, alright.
This is just
I thought we just turned up and
this
promote
is
the thing.
I mean, to be fair, if you get to a lecture before it starts and you see the lecturer, then you ask him like, can I just
quick
tell
announcement
students about this?
Yeah.
If they say yes, then yeah. Because the only difference is like with election week, we kind of like the announcement, the SU tells the university like this is what's going to be happening during this week. Can you let these candidates go in and speak? And that's when and like I had devised like the perfect plan, like and every week like every day it was something new. And it was just
we'll get on that. We'll get on that. You'll see all four of us like just in your lecture room with the big projectors talking about Sliders podcast. No, definitely. But yeah. And what life lessons would you say you've learned in your experience in uni in general?
Listen to your parents, but make sure that I mean, it sounds very cliche and like it probably is what people are thinking in their heads or whatever, but listen to your parents and, try and do things that might make them happy, but also make sure that you're doing something that is going to be like, right, okay, I'm making money from this. And even though money's not, I'm not getting the most amount of money right now, it's still something I want to do. And the reason I say that is because like, bro, when we come to university, it might get to a point where like, I know you've definitely felt it, fam, where you're in second year and you're like, oh, why did I come here? You just want to be done. But then whenever I got to those situations there, and especially by the time I got to third year, I knew that I wanted nothing to do with sports science, and I knew I didn't want to go down that avenue. But I was like, no, by the time I got second year, but I was like, you know what? I'm already here. Let me just get my degree, let my parents turn up, take a picture of me, and that's it. And I can, and it's not like I did the degree for them, but because I already knew what I wanted to do, it's like, it's something that they can be proud of and that brings them peace. But then I already know what I'm trying to do on the side. And even the presidency, like I did it during my masters, and my masters went on pause. But like, and I'm planning to finish it because I just have to finish and hand in my dissertation. It seems to be dissertation, just seems to be the theme, fam. Have to finish and hand in my dissertation, but like, and I'm still going to aim to finish that dissertation and hand it in to finish my masters, because one, we paid money for it, and two, like it's just gonna be something that brings them peace. Whereas I know right now the situation that I'm in, like I can definitely get a job in so many different places.
That's hard to balance. Like make your parents happy, but still do something.
I already know in myself, like I can, like my American fam, my CV, my CV's been leveled up by like 10 levels, because not just because of being the president, but like because of all the subcommittees that I'm involved in. Because a lot of the big stuff that's happening around the university, like I have to be involved in that. And because of all of that, I can just add them all in as a part of my CV and apply leaving this role and apply for jobs that probably pay like 30-40 grand plus and stuff like that. And like I have more of a chance in getting it than someone else, someone that's got a degree, because of the experience I've picked up over the past 2 years.
Would you say it's you pretty much picked up a good managerial position? Yeah,
I'm a manager. I manage like 7 people. I manage like 7 people.
Oversee events.
I'm a chair. I oversee events. I'm a chair of multiple boards. I'm the sub chair of a racial equality charter.
Yeah.
I'm a student governor. So
Talk your shit, man.
What do you not do?
Keep going.
What do you not do?
MVP, NBA,
Hey, like this,
NBA.
like this.
Let's go.
So like,
Black
you know,
excellence.
that's what I'm saying. So I'm a student governor, and that's where all the big decisions at universities get made. So like I'm involved in all those things. So going to apply for a job, it's like, right, okay, like I can definitely, I'm going to give them more than a lot of other people. So whereas I know that, okay, cool, even though I can probably secure a job easier than a lot of people, but I still need to get this master's because I paid for it, and like because my mum and dad are gonna nag me for the rest of life if I don't if I don't just complete it, especially when I've got one thing left to hand in. So yeah.
Okay, and with sports science, lastly, like, do you feel like you applied anything as you are a person that does sports actively? Did you marry the two? Is there anything that you picked up?
Yeah,
that you
definitely. Like I know how to
your life?
I know how to look after my body a lot better.
Okay.
And like for me, because I'm one of those. How do I put? I'm an anomaly.
Okay.
In the way of where like my height, my weight, my physiology do not match.
Okay, so how tall are you and how much do you
I'm
weigh?
6'4".
Okay.
I've just lost. I've been this way, and since about the age of 17, I've been over 97 kg.
Okay.
But then now I had gained weight throughout lockdown, but I've lost it now. So I'm now right now I'm 101 kg.
Okay. 101.
Yeah.
Shit, I weigh 100 kg.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
You fatty fam.
I am. Like, it's actually mad.
Yeah.
It's actually mad.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I lost 100. I lost 6.8 kg, and I'm up to 100. I'm down to 101 now. Whereas, and I've got extremely flat feet. I've got extremely flat feet, and
So what does that mean? You don't get a little arch, yours is
I
just...
don't have the arch.
Oh, and you play basketball too, so does that make it weird jumping?
It increases the chances of me having like bad knees and stuff. And I shouldn't be able to jump the way I do. I shouldn't be able to sprint as fast as I do. I shouldn't be able to do half the crap I can do now.
Yeah.
But I can do them.
Is it a bit like a little anime reference? Was it a bit like you're doing a Deku thing? Like, are you damaging your body by like doing this?
I'm not damaging. No.
Even if your feet are like this, because you're saying that your feet shouldn't.
No, it's. I'm not damaging my body, but I just increase the chances of it getting damaged. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So like, if you have an arch and I don't have an arch on my foot, like there's more chances of me getting bad knees than it is for you, purely just because of that. Because when you have an arch in your foot, it's there like this, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have an arch, when you do that, your knee kind of comes inwards.
Okay.
Whereas if you have an arch, it's like that. But then if you have an extremely high arch, it's like it starts going outwards. Do you know what I mean? So it's all to do with just the way your bodies will stand, and then that's why you see like LeBron, he walks like this. His legs do that.
Like bow-legged.
No, kind of bow-legged, and his feet go outwards because he's also got flat feet, extremely flat feet.
Okay.
So you know what I mean. So, and that's where for me, footwear is a big thing as well, because it will help with the way I do things and help the way when I play and stuff. And yeah, like my body physically does not make sense, and I've been told this by a lot of physio, because like I'm also naturally very tight, so I'm not flexible whatsoever. Some people, they're naturally I'm also naturally very tight, so
touching toes isn't...
Oh, I can touch my toes. My hamstrings are sick, fam.
So like, what stretches can't you do?
My hips are really bad.
Oh.
My calves are quite bad.
So can't do
that one. So yeah, naturally I'm just very tight, but yeah, it's gotten a lot better. Yeah. But if I hadn't invested so much time in trying to like do it and stuff like that, it got worse. Like my first year of uni, I hurt my ankle, and that set me back a couple of years, because every time for like 2 years in a row, I would hurt it. And now it's like, okay, I'm in a situation where my ankle's a lot stronger because I know how to look after it, and like nutrition wise, I know how to. Obviously, it's quite easy. You can still go online and find stuff with nutrition and stuff. Yeah. Whereas for me, it's like it stemmed from what I did on my course, and I was able to learn like, oh, okay, this works here. This works better for here. Yeah. And I know all the different supplements and stuff. And I also worked at Holland and Barrett for like 2 months. So I picked up some stuff whilst I was there as well. So yeah, it helped me to kind of just implement a lot of the things that I know. And I feel like implement them into my life right now.
An advantage of that is that there's less bullshit when you do the course. Like, because they're on, you can go on the internet and learn that stuff, but you're gonna have to sift through a lot of nonsense, clickbait, lies.
Yeah.
But if you do it as your course, you know that you look at the studies, the facts, the nutrition, all that stuff. You know exactly what works.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a very good strength to have and good knowledge.
That's what I'm saying. So I know my body relatively well, and I know what exactly it needs for certain things. Like if I'm trying to lose weight, I know what to do. If I'm trying to gain weight, I know what to do. If I'm trying to strengthen a certain area, I know what to do. So like every time I feel like I'm getting bad knees, I give myself about 2 weeks and my knees are fine because I know what I can do with it.
Okay. Right. And just
I'm qualified. I'm more qualified than a lot of these fake ass personal trainers.
Yeah. What would you say are just some quick tips?
So now he talks some.
Just now. This is about to knock off the pod. Do your thing.
This is for you.
I knew. As soon as you mentioned bad knees, that's why I looked at this guy. I was like, he's ready. He's ready for the knees.
What would you say are some quick tips? Like if you wanted to give yourself some help to help your knees up, what would you say?
Knees, yeah.
Depends on what's wrong with them.
Might as well.
Where's the pain located?
So for me, it's more like I can't squat excess weight, but I can do my body weight. And
that doesn't answer me as to where
the pain.
It's like on top here, or
here,
is it
on top here.
Oh, that's like
behind.
Most likely to be quad tendonitis. So like you need to strengthen the smaller muscles around it.
Okay.
When we come with the podcast, I'll show you some things. But because you need to strengthen like the smaller. Because I had that on this knee, and it kind of comes and goes. But like because the way your quad works, your quad work is like it kind of wraps. Your quad kind of comes in and almost kind of wraps itself underneath the knee. Okay. And a lot of the time, the knee pain tends to come from here, from your patellar tendon. Whereas if you're feeling pain like more so up here, it's your quad tendon that's inflamed. Then like you need to do a bunch of stuff to like strengthen these muscles here, like the smaller muscles surrounding it here and here. Because sometimes like sometimes it's like if even tightness as well. Like if it's tight as well, like on my first year especially, like my IT bands were quite tight because you can't really stretch it, so you can only foam roll it. Okay. And because it was so tight, but the insides were calm. My knee was kind of going outwards. Because it was that tight, it was pulling it in. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. Just to close it off, final two. What are some of your biggest wins, losses, and lessons at uni?
Biggest wins? Okay, I'm going to start with losses. Biggest losses, I'd probably say, like injuring my ankle. Because I think that impacted a lot on what happened to me in terms of like how my motivation towards certain things, especially towards basketball, because there was a point where I was like, do I even want to do this? But like I knew I was like, no, you're here, but just do it. So that impacted a lot because like I injured my ankle like 2 or 3 times in the space of about a year and a half, and it was bad injuries. So sometimes I couldn't even walk. So lessons. So that was a massive loss. Lessons, I'd probably say like there's very limited loyalty.
Very limited loyalty.
There's very limited loyalty. Loyalty is in very, very few people. Okay. Like very few people. And I'm still learning that even now. Like as I'm here, I'm like as I'm playing right now, there's loyalty in very, very few people. And when you find that loyalty in those few people, like you know it's going to be legit. You know it's going to be very legit. Yeah. But like, that's a big lesson. Like there's loyalty in very, very, very few people. Okay. And then biggest win. Being elected as president. I don't think anything else tops that. Yeah. Like I graduated, I got my master's, but cool. But I was a university president, fam.
And finally, is uni a scam? Oof. Yes or no?
I have to watch the way I say this because
you're an inside man. You work for the man.
Is uni a scam? Depends in what aspect though. Okay, in what aspect?
Is it worth it going to uni? Because you did like go over it a bit. Like if there's certain courses where it's like you shouldn't really be going uni for this, but over the overall experience, if you can, like, is it a scam? Yes or no?
Like at least for you. Like if you're
Yeah,
just gonna
for
sum
you,
up
from your
yourself,
perspective.
were you scammed?
Yeah.
Who was I scammed? I think uni is not a scam for the most part, but it depends on what you're doing. And I think what you're doing at university can determine whether or not uni is a scam. And the reason I say that is because I think in this modern day, a lot of people are going to uni just purely for the experience. They're not going in there for their course because like they're going there purely for the experience, to experience university. And because of that, whenever they don't get the experience that they wanted, that's when they start getting vexed and saying, "You guys are stealing my money."
Yeah, I think it's
know
so
what I mean?
101 and
Do you know
shit.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So like for example, like September, people were told prior to that, like, you should avoid going back to campus. If you can study from home, whatever. Don't go to uni. Or people should have noticed it themselves. Like, that we're in a climate that we're in. Like, Corona exists right now. If I go back to uni, like, something might happen or whatever. So they should have noticed it themselves. But a lot of people, damn well that people were like, nah, I'm going to go to uni. So then they chose to go. And then they would have argued. Some of them would have argued with their parents saying like, nah, I want to live away from home. So they would have argued. So they chose to be on campus and stuff.
Yeah.
But then because of that, some of them will, when they then came to uni and they realized, the experience is not the same, then they started complaining, saying like, the uni is stealing my money. I'm like, bro, when you come into uni, like when you come back to uni, like, no one forced you to come back. No one forced you to go uni in September.
Yeah.
And this is kind of how I've been looking at it. Like even as a student, I would have seen it the same way. Like, I would have known like, okay, cool. If I'm coming back to uni, I'm coming back to uni purely because I am wanting to see my friends who are also coming back, because I want to get away from home to be in a different environment.
Yeah.
Or I'm just gonna stay home and save my money for the year. You know what I mean? But people didn't choose that. People chose violence.
They chose crud.
People woke up and chose violence. So they chose, and then when it didn't work out for them, that's when they started complaining. And then, it's just
Okay. But yeah, man, thank you for
So
coming down.
It's not a waste. Uni is not. It's not a scam. But it can also be a scam. It depends on what you're doing at university. Like if you're coming into university because you automatically think that, the moment when you graduate from your course, you're gonna have a job. I mean, unless it's like a medicine where you are basically guaranteed a job straight after it, then it can be a scam, because a lot of the courses, it's like you graduate, then okay, cool, you've graduated. There's a million other graduates out there that have more experience. Now what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always wondered, like, we graduate this year, but then there's people that graduated last year, they're going to graduate after us and before. It's like, so is everyone getting employed? Like, what's going on here?
That's what I'm saying.
Surely not everyone's finding a job. If niggas that graduated ahead of me are still out here looking, I come out, I'm still looking. People behind me are going to come out, they're still
But
looking.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying when I'm like, it's like, yeah, like why should I hire you? Why should we hire you? Like there's someone else that's older than you, that's that knows more than you.
Yeah.
That came in last year, but we declined them. So why should we hire you? Why are you different? And that's where the whole thing of where experience or what's it called, or like connections comes in handy. That's why you're seeing a lot more platforms for people to make connections, like LinkedIn, Clubhouse, stuff like that. And as much as Clubhouse, people have been listening to it using it for gossip.
It's working.
It's genuinely, it's more so designed to be quite a serious platform. So yeah, like I think it can be a waste of money depending on what you choose to do. Like for me, it wasn't a waste of money because like I chose to come to uni, and it gave me all the experience I needed, and it made me realize what the path that I wanted to go down. And I'm kind of going down that path right now. Whereas if I hadn't come to uni, then
who knows? We could be on the roads with fucking
saying, fam.
Ash and
Streets,
them from Top Boy.
come on.
Yeah. But thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Look forward to having you here again.
Northumbria Student Union is better than Newcastle.
Facts.
I won't speak on it.
Thank you. And yeah, it's been Who's Tough. We found out about the ACS, NBA, what else?
Wow,
Black
that's it.
champion. He's the real black champion. I'm just the black champion for the pod here, innit? But he's the real black champion out here, fam. I saw you at the protest too, man.
Do you know what? I'm not going to get into that one there. I'm not getting into that one.
You will come back and talk
I'll
about
come
it,
back.
Mo.
I'll come back.
Spin your host, Mo. Not too much to say today, but
And but when it's time for the knees, he comes
Hey.
out. When it's time for the knees.
I think Manny spoke well enough. I think if you're a sports scientist or prospective sports scientist student, and you come to a sit down watch episode,
Yeah,
you'll get the main gist of what you need,
yeah,
what the course is,
definitely.
and what you can get out of it, essentially. And I think Manny did a great job of
He
telling us
did.
that. So not too much to say.
Thank you.
But yeah, do you have anything that you want to plug in the
Yeah.
description box below?
Twitch.
Follow Kabangs on Instagram. Follow Kabang, twitch.tv/Kabangs, because I've just joined the streaming life.
Let's
trying,
go.
Trying to make it out. Trying to make it out the hood.
Yeah.
Wait, we're trying.
So yeah, I mean, because I'm trying to stream on that. That's something that if I had learned about that during my undergrad, like.
What, you'll be streaming?
I would have gone off with it because my master's, like, I only had uni like 3 times a week, so I was off for a lot of the week. So I used.
There's money in streaming, you know. Like you could just be better streaming, and people just send you P because they like your personality, fam. They like your jokes and
That's what I'm saying.
the way you talk.
So if I had heard about this, I would have done it earlier. Whereas I found out about it through the SU, like through one of my colleagues who does like our video content and stuff, and he's the one that's been plugging me. He's the one that plugged me with, like, with the thing that our totem and stuff. So that's so, you know, we're just trying to make it out the hood.
Yeah, man. Just a couple black boys with a dream.
Twitch.tv/Kabangs.
Yep.
Follow the thing and that thing.
And
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share
And then
it.
tell that friend to tell their friend as well.
There we go. Make sure to follow us on Sliders Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and sliding out.